Enlightenment has an evil twin, as the meditation teacher named Shinzen Young puts it. The clinical term is depersonalization derealization disorder, or DPDR. Both enlightenment and DPDR strip away the illusion of solidity. Both show that the self you thought you were and the world you thought you stood on are constructions. Yet one brings freedom while the other delivers despair. Let's look at how awakening unfolds in classical Buddhist training. After years of disciplined practice to refine attention, concentration stabilizes. Compassion softens the mind. When the emptiness finally reveals itself, the experience is liberating and the walls of ego turn transparent. The world shows itself as flow instead of fixed structures, and death loses its sting. Reality appears luminous, and instead of terror, there is wonder. As Young describes it, the practitioner begins to live 10 times the size of their former life. DPDR seeps in by another path. It usually comes from trauma. It has the capacity to suddenly push perception off its rails. A person wakes one morning and discovers that the self feels hollow, like a stage set. The world looks flat, drained of vitality, like a film behind glass. They cannot reconnect with what once felt real. Instead of liberation, they experience exile from their own existence. Many mistake it for spiritual awakening, but instead it's a waking nightmare that often comes with a sense of utter meaninglessness. The Pali Canon warns of falling into the pit of the void. To see emptiness without the preparation of virtue, concentration, and compassion is to tumble into nihilism. The recognition is real, but without wisdom it twists into despair. Why does the same insight split into such divergent outcomes? The answer is preparation. Awakening is cultivated. The ground is tilled with ethics, stability, service, equanimity. When emptiness arrives, it rests on a scaffold strong enough to hold it. DPDR offers no such foundation, and it strikes without context, without practice, without support. The emptiness is the same, but the vessel that receives it determines whether it becomes medicine or poison. Young describes working with students who brush against this edge. He reminds them that if they are panicking about emptiness, the panic is real enough. That gives them something to hold. He then teaches them to consciously generate positive experiences, warmth, joy, gratitude. Slowly, the psyche rebuilds strength. The void becomes less like a pit and more like a boundless sky. As Nisargadatta Maharaj famously once said, "When I see I am nothing, that is wisdom. When I see I am everything, that is love." My life is a movement between these two. Real awakening does something extraordinary. And no, it doesn't wipe out your personality or turn you into some blissed out zombie. Your ego doesn't get destroyed. It just stops running the show. What you thought was solid and separate turns out to have been flowing and connected all along. When you see this clearly, you don't have to work to get compassion. It just starts happening. Regular compassion usually works from a sense of distance. I feel bad for you, I want to help you, I'll make sacrifices for you. This kind of caring matters enormously. However, when the fence between me and you becomes see-through, compassion flows without anyone directing traffic. It's just compassion moving through whatever's happening, taking care of whatever needs taking care of. The New Testament captures this perfectly. Love is patient, love is kind. It doesn't envy, doesn't boast, isn't proud. It doesn't dishonor others, isn't self-seeking. It's basically describing what love looks like when your ego stops trying to manage it. Similarly, the Gita says, "The wise see with equal vision a learned priest, a cow, an elephant, a dog, and an outcast." It's what you actually see when you recognize the same consciousness showing up everywhere. Maybe the Dhammapada puts it most beautifully. As a mother protects with her life her child, her only child, so with a boundless heart should one cherish all living beings. A mother doesn't have to think about protecting her child. Protection happens automatically because she recognizes the child as part of herself. Awakening reveals nothing is actually separate from you. And in that recognition, caring for everything becomes as natural as breathing. Dissociation can't create this kind of compassion because dissociation shuts down the very channels through which connection flows. You can't love what you can't feel. You can't serve what you can't touch. You can't heal what you won't acknowledge. Awakening opens all the channels at once. Life pours through without getting stuck anywhere. Compassion moves effortlessly because reality itself, when you see it clearly, is already compassionate. The silent war will continue. This seems certain. Trauma will continue to accumulate. Secret societies, corrupt gurus, and systems of control will continue discovering new methods of inducing compliance. The technologies of manipulation will become more sophisticated, more subtle, more difficult to detect. The defense, however, remains as simple as it is ancient. Return to presence. Being here now in this body with these feelings, facing this reality, the fog of dissociation can only be lifted with genuine practice of embodying this wholeness. Compassion without an I arises with the recognition of what individuality actually is. A temporary constellation of consciousness, precious beyond measure, already whole, already free, already home. The war loses its weapons when there is nothing left to fragment, no separation to exploit, no absence to fill with external authority. We have a choice every moment. Will we choose presence or absence? The genuine difficulty of awakening or the false ease of dissociation? The answer we give individually and collectively will determine whether consciousness continues its evolution toward greater wholeness. The path back to presence remains open. It always has been. It always will be. The only question is whether we have the courage to walk it.